Okay, here's how it works. Get new stuff in and pull some stuff, to spin. Also, it's already in the collection. And it goes into a cube on a shelf here behind me. And I'm way behind. So basically, this cube here is everything I've been spinning lately, new stuff, a couple older things off the shelf that just need to go back. But I put them here until, basically until I'll do a video. And then I put them in a database and put them into the collection. So as you can see, way behind. So let's get this video going. ABC, it's Greeno. Well, as you can tell, it's time for another update. I definitely got a ton to show. Just 2 or 3 weeks since the last one. Been spinning a lot, so let's kind of jump right into it. A couple CDs here at the beginning. George just showed this not long ago. It's a new release from Demon Doll. It's Sinful Kicks, Midnight Fantasy. And it is exactly what it looks like. That commercial hard rock metal, hair metal, MTV metal, whatever you want to call it, 80s stuff. Late 80s, early 90s. Just one of those forgotten glam bands, whatever you want to call them, that Demon Doll specializes in. And this is Metal Legacy and Demon Doll release. So very cool. Try and get all the Demon Doll stuff as they put it out. It's always rare, like I'd never heard of this band, to be quite honest. I think George said he might have had some demos or cassettes or something, but I don't remember them. But cool stuff, not great, but very cool, of that era, to find these kind of bands that just slip through the cracks, And the last CD is another one George has already shown, Twisted Sister, Metal Meltdown. And got this, it's DVD and live, is it Blu-ray? Yep, DVD, Blu-ray, and CD of this live show, recent live show. Very cool. They're still awesome live. I mean, they're just, they don't do the costume and makeup anymore here lately, I guess, but they still just throw down, man. Killer band. So definitely cool. I got some books. I want to show those real quick. But first, what's spinning in the background is Bow Wow Live, Holy Expedition. And these guys are a Japanese band. This is man, I can't even remember the year. Early to mid 80s. And if you watch my videos, I dig the Japanese 80s metal stuff. These guys were cool. They were early, man. Earlier than Loudness. Started out as Bow Wow. Changed their name to Vow Wow. VOW, WOW. And then I think back to Bow Wow. And I think that has something to do with Bow Wow Wow. Maybe when they were popular for a little bit in the 80s. I don't know. But just cool. Kind of like hard rock metal. Definitely on the hard rock side. But cool stuff. Alright, a few books. And actually I'll show you this one last. First, I just kind of grabbed this because winter's coming around. This is the time I really dig reading. I read all year round music. That's just all I read about. But when winter comes around, I just start digging in magazines and books. I grabbed this because I just wanted to learn some more about prog rock. This is Mountains Come Out of the Sky, the illustrated history of prog rock. And I haven't started this yet. Looks very cool. Just tons of, looks like there's going to be tons of cool information. You got some Rush stuff. And like I say, I haven't even dug into this yet. There's Typical, yes. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. I'm sure it's going to touch on the big boys, but I'm hoping, you know, there'll be some more underground stuff too. There's a big thing, King Crimson, Pink Floyd, all the typical stuff. Next, I just kind of came across this. I didn't know this was out. Saw it in the bookstore and grabbed it. It's the Complete History of Black Sabbath, What Evil Lurks. And again, I think this is just brand new. Looks really cool. And looks like I said, I haven't read this yet. Looks like there's a lot of Ozzy stuff too, you know, as far as solo stuff. Like there's a bunch of Randy Rhoads stuff. Yeah, lots of cool pictures. And hopefully lots of cool information. Like I said, I haven't started this yet. And next, man, I really wanted to grab this. It sold out real quick. I think this is a second printing on this book. And it's like $50 coming directly from the band site. But I ended up finding it for 30 something on Amazon anyways. And that is Back to the Front, Metallica. And this is just a book completely about Master of Puppets. And I've read just the first few pages of this, and it's freaking really cool so far. And what they did, I remember when this the band kind of put out the word they were putting this together like 3 years ago, probably 2-3 years ago. They sent out word to the fans. They were looking for pictures from that era, stuff we don't have. Yeah, we want to use it. Putting this book together, and there's a lot of stuff in here is directly from the fans. So very cool. And I think they kind of did the same thing with those box sets. The books that came with those, a lot of those pictures, you know, you just put the word out. Hey, you know, we're putting books together and we're looking for pictures from certain eras. So, next. This one I have read and it's very cool, man. I've always dug this dude. And I dig a period of this guy's musical history or whatever. And after that period on, I'm not that interested in, but I'm interested in the dude. He seems cool, and I've always heard good things about him. And you definitely get the feeling of that from reading this book. And it's Perpetual Conversion. And basically, it's about Dan Lilker, the bass player. Most people are going to know him from Anthrax's first album and Nuclear Assault. And of course SAD. But then, and that's as far as I get, up to Nuclear Assault. But then he went on, and this dude's total, you know, if you don't know anything about him, he's totally into it for the music, and he's in this underground thing. He's been in dozens of bands, and he went on into the phone blowed up. He went on into the extreme side of metal after Nuclear Assault. With Brutal Truth, who I've never heard, and Hemlock, and I don't know, just all these, you know, grindcore, death metal, black metal, just crazy bands, you know, in the underground. And occasionally get SOD back together, occasionally get Nuclear Assault back together. But just reading this, and it was interesting. I thought, well, I'll read up until, you know, the Nuclear Assault days. And then I'll probably be done with this book. I wasn't. I read the whole thing, even up through all of his death metal stuff. He's just an interesting dude, a laid-back dude. And, I don't know, this is a really good book. If you are interested in Dan Lilker at all, definitely check it out. And he totally doesn't have anything bad to say about being kicked out of Anthrax or, you know, Nuclear Assault kind of, you know, band problems. Folding, you know, at different times. He just seems like a laid-back dude, totally into the music, and that's all he cares about. And that's it for the books. But this spurred me to pull out some stuff, of course, as I'm reading it. Pulling out some stuff Dan Lilker was on. And the first thing I reached for isn't the first Anthrax, but the SOD, Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die. I have an OG, an original of this, but I picked this up a while back, and I think it's a couple years. 2008 is when this was reissued on Megaforce. And there's the inner, and it's not black vinyl, but like I said, I grabbed this a while back. I got it cheap on Amazon. I just wanted, because like I said, I have an original and it's been played to death. I love this album. This album may have some of the best riffs ever written in metal, to be quite honest. Just amazing stuff, and the humor, the lyrics, just totally over the top. But like I said, I went ahead and grabbed it because my original's been played to death, and I just wanted to grab a reissue. And this sounds great. They did a great job with this. And again, that's from 2008. And then just the other day, I ran across this. I went ahead and grabbed it. It's another reissue. This is the 30th anniversary 2 LP reissue. And this has the album plus SOD Live in Tokyo 1999. And glasses time. So it's 2005 on it, but that's not right. I'm pretty sure this is a brand new. Yeah, brand new. Probably last year, 2015. 95, yeah, that'd be 30 years. The live album, the live record on here sounds great. Yeah, it's just killer. This is a really good package. If you don't have this album, you can pick up the single, just a straight album. I'm sure it's still out there floating around cheaper. This was like $22 or something. It's a little pricey, but I wanted to go ahead and grab it. It's a gatefold and it has the live, the live disc with it. So I went ahead and grabbed it because this is a fantastic album. I just love it. I don't mind having different pressings of it. And I think this was on like a red. Nah, it's like a copper vinyl, which, whatever. And then from there, moved on to some Nuclear Assault. This is a reissue back on black. It has Game Over and The Plague, the EP that came out right after Game Over. And Nuclear Assault was basically after Lilker left Anthrax. Yeah, he started Nuclear Assault. Nuclear Assault was gone. He ended up doing the SOD album, in there also. But Nuclear Assault was his main band there in the 80s. And last one was Handle with Care, another reissue on Back on Black. Yeah, just killer stuff. Nuclear Assault was a great band. So, alright, up next. Brand new. Super excited to get this. I ordered it direct. From Heavy Forces. Couldn't wait for it to make its way over to the distros in the US. And that's Iron Curtain, Guilty as Charged. Love this freaking cover. All their covers are great. They have that 80s metal album look. These guys are from Spain. Kind of got turned on to these dudes from Brother Rene, our VC metalhead down there in Spain. And killer band. This is their third album. That's the inner. And all of them have been great. They're just straight up new wave traditional heavy metal kind of band. Really cool. Same with this band. Sweden, I think. And I've shown this before, but I was just spinning it again. Lethal Steel. Legion of the Night is the name of the album. And again, new wave traditional heavy metal. I believe they have there's some epic mustaches in here down at the bottom. Really cool band. Dig these guys. And this is just something I wanted to pull out again to spin. This next album just popped up. One of the places I do orders with. Yeah, I knew nothing about him. Went ahead and grabbed it. It's Disarm Goliath. Only the devil can stop us. And this is from like 1999, and it's on High Roller. They reissued it. They were from the UK, and it's just again kind of straight metal. And the glare is pretty bad today. Let me get this other thing. That'll help a little bit. Maybe it won't. But again, cool album. Nothing mind-blowing, but dug it. Mainly it was on High Roller. Checked it out, and you know it's just kind of straight up metal, so I went ahead and grabbed it. This band is from Finland. It's on the Spark label. It's Rotor, and it's Musta Kasi, I guess is the name of the album. And again, this popped up on one of the places I ordered from, and it looked interesting and checked it out and dug it. It's kind of a speed metal mix. It's brand new. Very cool. And this definitely needs more spins. Yeah, it just needs more spins. I wish I could say more about it. I dug it. It's just that I need to give it some more time. I like the cover. Very cool. Band I'm really starting to get into more and more, like every time I play something. I do have originals of the first 3, but I've been picking up the reissues on Metal Blade. Right? Yeah. And this is Cirith Ungol. And I'm drawing a total blank. King of the Dead. That's it. And like I said, it's a Metal Blade reissue from last year, I believe. These guys were out of California. First album was like 81. This is 84, somewhere around in there, 84. But I don't know, I kind of put these guys in there. Cirith Ungol, Warlord, Manila Road. They kind of walk their own path. Very cool bands. Frost and Fire, that's the album I really dig. But everything is, every time I spin it, something from them, they're just growing on me more and more. So very cool. And these are out there floating around. And this, just pulled this out. Cinderella, Long Cold Winter. Killer band. Kind of got lumped in with the hair metal thing, which is a shame. First album I can understand. But after that, they were much more of a bluesy, Aerosmithy kind of band. Really good band. Good album. Alright, grab another stack. Okay, next. It's a band from Sweden. It's a compilation of their first 3 albums. It's 220 volt Electric Messenger. Very cool stuff. It's kind of traditional metal on the lighter side, I guess you could say. Very cool band. I dig, and I think they're still going. Occasionally putting something out, but definitely dig their early stuff. Oh yeah, and I forgot to show you this. This is a patch that came with the Iron Curtain album. Forgot all about that. I think these guys are from Belgium. And Warcon, I think is how you say it. And the Madman's Lullaby. This is from like 2011. Really dig the cover. It's got that old school look to it. But this is kind of one of those retro thrash bands kind of that was going on there. Yeah, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever. But definitely has that 80s thrash kind of sound to it. Really dig that. Next, reissue of Power from Hell from Onslaught. Their debut. And very cool album. Thrash. Kind of dirty. A rougher mix. These guys were from the UK. And who issued this? AFM Records, Metal Ways Records, Blower Records. I don't know. There's all three on here. It was limited to 500. It's kind of cool. It comes with a poster and a little embossed cardboard thing. But cool band. A couple albums later, Steve Grimmett from, was it In Search of Sanity was the album, would sing with them. Steve Grimmett from Grim Reaper, like I said. Totally different style band by then. Yeah, not this raw. I think they started out as a punk band. And this is 84, somewhere around in there. This was kind of a, stumbled across it online. Cheap, so I grabbed it. It's Black Slash Sinister Lightning. And crap, I can't remember where these dudes were from. But this is very cool. New Wave Traditional Heavy Metal, and these guys are young. It's 2015. I think they had one album before this one. And like I said, they're real young, but very cool. Really dig this. If you're checking out the New Wave Traditional Heavy Metal, it's a band to definitely check out. I'd like to track down their first album here at some point. Next, the first album from Metal Lucifer, Heavy Metal Drill. And I think this has been put out, reissued, whatever, a million times. This is from 96. These guys are crazy. Japanese band that love old school 80s underground metal, and that's what they put together, a band to play that kind of stuff, and that's what this sounds like. Very stripped down, very cool. And this is Neil Tanaka. He's not in the band, he's just a heavy metal hunter, collector. And you can see some of the guys here. They have the old album covers on the walls behind them. I think all these dudes are huge metal collectors, really into it, and started this band. I think there's a connection with the Japanese Sodom, I think, one of the dudes. But it's great. It's, yeah, tons of songs with heavy metal in the title. Heavy Metal Is My Way, Heavy Metal Drill, Heavy Metal Hunter, Iron and Steel and Metal. Yeah, they I think they have like 3 albums and then just a ton of EPs and live releases and that kind of thing. But again, that's and I believe this was the original cover when it first came out. And this is on Iron Pegasus, this pressing. Next, a band I don't know a lot about, another Japanese metal band, 44 Magnum. And I guess the album's just Danger. Cool cover. I was talking to some guys, posted this album cover, they were like, what's this chick doing? Waiting on her boyfriend to come out of practice, she's going to cap him. That's kind of what it looks for. There it looks like. Here's the back. But very cool hard rockin' metal, you know, of that era. Some 1984. This is on Roadrunner, this pressing. Love the Japanese stuff. Next, Celtic Frost, Into the Pandemonium. And this is a old pressing on Combat. Another band I pretty much ignored in the 80s, and I'm trying to get more familiar with now. Honestly, still not a huge fan. I dig them, but man, they're an odd band. I'm slowly, you know, turning to the light, whatever. Slowly starting to dig them. For a while I didn't. Of course, Cold Lake. I remember that coming out, and I was like, "What are these dudes doing?" Because you used to see these older albums like this, see ads for them all the time, and I checked them out, and I knew they were, much different band than what Cold Lake sounded like. But I don't want to go into that because, like I say, I don't know a lot about them, and I'm just now starting to kind of get into them. Next is Pressing on High Roller, Quartz, Too Hot to Handle. Quartz was an old new wave of British heavy metal band, and this is killer. It's a 2 LP set, all unreleased, demo stuff, that kind of thing, and it all sounds great. It's very good quality, and this is just straight up new wave of British heavy metal on the rock side, not on the Maiden, Angel Witch side, but on that hard rock, early new wave of British heavy metal sounding stuff. Where it still has that 70 hard 70s influence. Very cool. Next is Ink, Indestructible Noise Command, and this is their second album, Visitor. These dudes were out of Connecticut, I believe, and this was, like I said, their second album. They released 2 albums in the 80s, and then did the typical, got back together and a few years back, and they've released a couple more, which I've never heard. But cool 80s thrash, basically, kind of in that Exodus kind of vein, not the Bonded era, but Pleasures of the Flesh kind of around in there, that kind of sound. Very cool. Again, that's another band. This is a reissue. It's another band I don't even remember from the 80s. But stumbled across it, checked them out. Somebody reissued this. It's on Giant Records. Just come out. Very cool. More heavy 70s really than metal, but a Best of Budgie. And this is on Cube Records out of London. And basically, it's a best of, but it's basically tracks from the first 2 albums, the heavier tracks from the first 2 albums. And it's really good to listen. Everybody knows Budgie, killer heavy 70s band. It's an interesting record. Posted this again, talking to Aaron, metal theologian, and Mr. Bizarro, and some other dudes. And they're like, man, I've never seen that before. And I got thinking, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen another copy of this. I just scored it pretty cheap on Amazon, or eBay a while back. It's been a few years. And, I don't know. Anybody else have a copy of this? I've never looked it up. I could probably look it up on Discogs. I just haven't. Probably won't. Next is Child, The Conception. This is on New Renaissance. 80s, late 80s, I think. 88. That's a good band picture. Hey. This is a weird album. It's not the greatest, actually. It's not heavy metal. It's just like a weird hard rock mix. I don't know. Didn't really think a lot of this, to be quite honest. And I've had this forever. I picked it up for $1, looks like, here at some point. Finally spun it, and that's about what it's worth, $1. And there's the vinyl. It's a reissue. Mistreated, Premier Intervention, French metal from like 88. This is on No Remorse. Yeah, 2015. Looks like it was limited to 300. I'd never heard this either. The reissue popped up. I think it was Aaron. I was talking to, I think LJ and I about it, and I ended up grabbing it. I can't remember if LJ grabbed it or not. Cool stuff. French metal. We have a reissue of Don't Break the Oath, Merciful Fate. And this is one of the Metal Blade reissues. Sounds great. I think it's, yeah, it's on colored vinyl. Weird yellow, whatever. 84 was this second album. Again, Metal Blade reissue. Just from a year or two back. 2014. And, yeah, classic. Don't need to talk about this. And like I said, it sounded great, but I pulled out the I have an original. Wanted to check it out, compare it, and sounds just as good. Want to compare the reissue, just wondering, you know, how it sounded with the original, and it sounds great. Those Metal Blade reissues are very cool, worth it. And then listen to Merciful Fate 9. This came out in '99, and I didn't check it out when it came out back in the day. It's on Back on Black. That's pretty much a recent issue or pressing too, I think. It says 2002, but I think that's. I think it's just come out not long ago, actually. Cool album. Definitely like the early stuff, as usual with me. I like the earlier stuff better. But this is what it is. I got one of the reissues of Kiss Alive 3. And this is the non-makeup Kiss. Alive 1 and 2, definitely better. But this is still cool. Yeah, it's cool to see him, or hear him do Creatures of the Night and Domino and that kind of thing. I Was Made for Loving You. So these reissues are fantastic. These Kiss, excuse me, that they did a couple years back. I've slowly been picking them up. I got all the '70s stuff other than the solo albums. But I wasn't going to do it. I was like, nah, they got enough of my money over the years. Way more than enough. And I grabbed one. I just grabbed the debut, and it freaking blew me away. So I grabbed another one, and it blew me away. And it's like, okay, I'm in. I don't want to grab them. So I definitely wanted to get all of the '70s, which I did. And I've just picked up a couple after that. Yeah. So they got me again, just like Maiden. They get me every time. Next is Past Lives, Black Sabbath, which is the 2 LP live recordings from the '70s. It's Sabbath. It's great, but I'll be honest, this didn't blow me away. Some of the, it's old recordings, live recordings. You know, it is what it is. But I don't know. Probably need to listen again. I might not have been really pulled into it. And again, it's Sabbath. Yeah, everybody knows Sabbath rules. But I think just the production, and again, it's just old recordings from the '70s. It is what it is. Creator, Out of the Dark. This is an EP from '88 on Noise. And another band I didn't really get into in the '80s. And still not a big fan of. But this was freaking great. I really dug this, and it has me wanting to check out more. I do have a couple old Creator albums on the shelf I just need to pull out and spin again now. And I think I'm going to after listening to this. I've had this for a while, picked it up. Looks like I found it somewhere for $8. And that's why I leave stickers on a lot of price stickers on a lot of these. You can go through my collection, and I'm not all anal about pulling these off, and I don't really care. Kind of tells the history, you know what I mean? That Vow Wow album, I got that for $5. Still has a sticker on it. On the inside, somebody had put a little post-it, Japanese metal, not released in the U.S., $40. So at some point, somebody was asking $40 for it. I don't know if they ever got that, but I paid $5 for it. But anyways, kind of taking a left turn there, but very cool. I need to check out more Creator. A lot of that German thrash from the 80s, I didn't pay enough attention to back in the day. And I'm slowly checking out more and more of it. Some I really dig, some not so much. A few 12 inches. Loudness, Let It Go. This has the OBI. It's on Atco. Loudness, they're just the Black Sabbath of Japanese metal, the Led Zeppelin of Japanese metal, whatever. They're the big one. For me. I mean, I got to see him on Thunder in the East tour, and that was the first Japanese metal band I ever saw. Then EZO came along, and I was like, what the crap is that? And really dig them. Anyways, next, another 12-inch is Anthrax Madhouse. It's kind of cool. Comes with the patch, the So On patch here. And that was on Island. What else was on there? AIR and God Save the Queen is on the B side. And the Tokyo Blade 12-inch, Lightning Strikes Straight Through the Heart. Looks like this was on Power Station. And it's got Fever, Fever, and Attack, Attack. Or excuse me, Fever and Attack, Attack on the B side. Totally love that cover. Alright, grab a couple more here. This is going to be an epic video. Okay, just a handful of non-metal. The Pattern, Real Feelness. And this is on Lookout. I haven't bought anything off that label, which was an old pop-punk label from the 90s. Green Day, of course, started there. But bands like Squirt Gun, Groovy Coolies, one of my favorite bands, was on there. But came across this, it was real cheap, so I grabbed it. This is very cool. It's garage, poppy garage, I guess you could say. It's not pop punk at all, and very cool cover. And again, like I said, it was on Lookout. Now, the cover caught my eye, and I saw the label, and it was cheap, so I grabbed it. Soundtrack. Bought this on DVD probably about a year ago. I'd never seen this movie, and it's just whacked out. Phantom of the Paradise. If you ever get a chance to see it, definitely check it out. It's kind of in that Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of deal, but not horror. Well, it kind of is horror, I guess. But it's just tripped out. Crazy. Found this cheap. Not something I'll probably listen to a lot, but it was cool find. One I wanted to grab for a while, Elias Hawk, Unchained. Heavy 70s. Early 70s. 70, 71, if I'm remembering. 1970. This is a 2011 reissue on Somer. Bluesy, hard rock. And, you know, a band did this today. I'm pretty sure Marvel Comics would be busting their door down with some lawyers. But very cool. And again, I've kind of been on a want list for a while. I saw it in a shop, a little hippie shop I go to, and almost picked it up a couple times, and when finally I was like, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Went back, and it wasn't there. And he never got another copy in. Finally, this turned up for a good price online, so I grabbed it. A Pot album. David Peel and the Lower East Side. The American Revolution. Kind of like a 70s hard rock, goofy album. Legalize Marijuana, Oink Oink, I Want to Get High, Girls, 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 Mr. Draft Board. It's very anti-establishment. We like smoke a lot of dope kind of record. It's on Elektra, and I can't remember the year. 1970. I think they did he or they, whatever, did a couple albums. And, yeah, it's kind of funny. But, yeah, actually good. There's some cool rockin' stuff on there. Next, the third album from Admiral Sir Cloudsley Shovel, Keep It Greasy. And this album freaking smokes, man. This might be their best release yet. I really dig this band. Three-piece, hard rock in that 70s style. And, like I said, this is probably their best release so far. A little more accessible than the first two. Better songwriting, I believe. Still heavy as hell. Just really good. It's on Rise Above. Purple vinyl. Just come out not long ago. It's out there floating around. Highly recommended. Definitely check these dudes out. And I got a reissue of Bad Music for Bad People, The Cramps. Just a famous cover. This is a compilation album from back in the day. It's from '84. And I'm pretty sure it's just a boot. I found it at a local store. A little pricey, actually. But I went and grabbed it. I've never seen it anywhere else. And chances of finding an original, slim to none. And if you do, it's going to be pricey as shit. So I went and grabbed that. And I haven't bought any of these. I just want to grab one, see what they're like. And it's some of the Stones reissues. So I picked up Beggar's Banquet. And sounds great. Just really well done. It's on clear, like crystal clear vinyl. And just well done, man. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to start buying a bunch of these. But, yeah, maybe a couple here and there. I might grab a couple more of, that late 60s, early 70s era. That's the stuff I like the most. So, definitely cool record. Cool pressing. Alright, I think that's it. This video is way too long. And, wow, I've had my glasses on for most of it. My eyes are getting bad, VC. Like I said, that's it. Thanks for watching. Still picking up new subscribers. Thanks to all the new subscribers, old subscribers, the commenters. Even though I don't comment hardly at all anymore, I'm still watching. I'm doing my best. Loving everybody's videos. So that's it. See you in the next video. Later, VC.